What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the live podcast. Don't wait to be great. I am your host, Mr. Derek Forston, and we're super excited, just like we are every Monday. Every Monday when we come here at 6 p.m., we're super excited to talk about how do we house the homeless and what does it take? So tonight's topic, we're literally going to be talking about what are the requirements to start your own housing program, and we're calling it the ILF edition. So welcome all my Clubhouse family. I want you guys to come over to YouTube. We're live on YouTube right now at Forston Consultants. So welcome my Twitter family, my LinkedIn family, and also welcome Facebook, but definitely welcome to my YouTube family, which we've been going to live a lot lately. Again, guys, welcome. I'm Derek Forston. I'm the owner and operator and thought leader of Second Chance Housing. And that's where we take people from homeless to hopeful. I'm also the founder of Forston Consultants, where my family and I and my beautiful wife and I, we go all over the world showing people this model of the shared housing model and how can you start your own housing program without a license, without having to be a doctor or a nurse, and without owning the real estate. So that's the most exciting thing that a lot of people get excited with us about, is that they find out that they don't have to own the real estate. So when you realize that, because I know for me, game was over for me when I found out the day that I could get into this and house the homeless and I didn't need to actually own the real estate. That was a game changer for me. So welcome, especially if this is your first time. If this is your first time, type into the chat first timer. Because again, today's topic, guys, is what are the requirements to start your own housing program, the ILF edition. And again, this does not require a license. You don't have to be a nurse or a doctor, and you don't have to own the real estate. So welcome one and welcome all. We appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to let my beautiful wife introduce herself, and then we're going to jump right into today's topic. And guys, also share the room too. Pastor Stephanie, good to see you. You're a first timer. We love it when churches are involved in this, because one of our newer campaigns actually is kind of getting this to the church, because all the needs come to the church anyway. So if you're a pastor, you're a priest, or you're a bishop, or if you're just a congregant, right, you need to tell your pastor about this, right? Because this can truly change the lives of your community. And you can add it to your church as well. So a lot of the churches and pastors now are adding this to what they're already doing. So we call this ministry. So again, if you're in church leadership of any kind and what you hear tonight interests you, let us know. Definitely put all your questions in the chat. But we're going to be talking about tonight, how do you get started and what are the requirements to do something like this that we're telling you that there's no license required in it. Miss Shane, talk to the people and tell them how great you are and what you do. And what's the name of your program.
Listen, I'm trying to be great, Derek. I'm doing the best I can with all I have, right? I am Shanye Shea Forston, and I am the president and founder at the Angela Denise Foundation, which is a local 501c3 nonprofit organization here in the Orlando, Florida area, where we take women that were once homeless to hopeful, utilizing the ILF model. I do this again from a nonprofit organization standpoint, and I love it. The reason why I do this from a nonprofit standpoint is because it allows me to not only just house, but to do other things within my community. As all people know, nonprofit organizations are community-based organizations. So my goal and my dream and my job is to get the word out of what we do, what services we provide, and also communicate with those in my community to see what needs our community has and be able to fulfill and supply those needs within our community here in the Orlando, Florida, Apopka, Florida, Ocoee, Florida, just Central Florida, and get the state of Florida and get that need met through the nonprofit organization. So that's a little bit about me. I am also a consultant here at Forston Consultants, and I am co-founder as well as co-founder and consultant and business strategist here at Forston Consultants and Digital Flow Solutions and VA 101. Those are our sister companies that again provide services to those of you that get involved in the ILF Mastery Blueprint, which is our all-time well-renowned one-on-one coaching product and service that we provide through Forston Consultants. So I'm looking forward to an amazing room this evening. We've got guests. I see, I know that Francesca is going to be joining us tonight as well, Derek. Francesca and Jameen Dawson,
Good
as
stuff.
well as our family, Dornico and Tiffany, are here. And we are excited to discuss some of the things that we do in the ILF and the shared living model, and how you can also take part in this and make a dramatic change in your community. Remember, housing is the number one need, and what better way to get out there and do something and provide a great service for our community than by providing them with the housing needs that they so desperately need in this season. So, Derek, I'm gonna throw it back over to you, and then we can go ahead and do what you want to do, sir.
Absolutely, Shay. I appreciate that. And again, thank you to everybody that came. I always say this, but I'll never stop saying it. You guys have a lot of choices of where you could be right now, but you chose to be here with us, and we appreciate that. And we promise to deliver on what we're going to share. Remember, I always have two things that I usually want to do, right? Number one, I want to give a bunch of information, and I want to give the keys to how we do a lot of what we do. And then number two, I want to give you all an opportunity to kind of get our help to do that. So again, my goal, number one, is to give you guys a lot of information on how we do what we do so that you all can do it. And then the number two thing that I promise to deliver on is also offer a way for you guys to be involved in it. No need for me to talk about all night tonight how we do this, right? My goal is that I want to share it with you all, because if y'all know my beginning story, people hid this from us. So when we finally caught hold to it and learned what it was and went through the bumps and the bruises, I promise God that I say, God, if you give it to me, I'll teach it to other people. And that's exactly what we do now. So tonight, again, the requirements to start your own housing program. And just in case if you're brand new to us, because I never want to take for granted that people just know who we are and what we do. To make a long story short, y'all, we house displaced and homeless adults. But those displaced and homeless adults must receive a guaranteed income. As much as my heart want to house everybody, we're not built to do that today. So we're going to be showing you not only what are the requirements for us to do it,
Right.
but what are the requirements for the people that seek this kind of housing that we're offering.
Absolutely.
So number one, Shay, I want people to realize that we offer a shared living environment. That simply means I'm going to go out and get a 4-bed, 2-bath home, and I'm going to put 8 people in that place.
Correct. Yep.
Right? Because Shay, I'm going to put 2 beds per room, unless it's a private room. And we'll talk about that tonight as well. But essentially, guys, we do something that's called independent living in a shared living environment. Most of y'all have heard of the word group home. In fact, put the word yes in the chat if you've heard of the term group home. Well, that's not what we do, and neither do we want you to even use that term. But most people, Francesca, they're used to what that whole group home term sound like. But lucky for y'all, we got a way to show you how to do something that's similar to a group home, but you don't need a license. I don't have to go and ask ACA. I don't have to go and ask my government agency, right? I don't have to own the property. Guys, as a poor social worker making 28 grand a year, that was the cheat code for me many years ago. Because if y'all know my story, I started this back in 2018, right? Well, actually 17 of the research. 2018 is when I left my job, right? And started this full time. But again, I told y'all, man, to make a long story short, we take a 4-bed, 2-bath home or a 3-bed, 2-bath home. It could be a 2-bed, 1-bath home. The point is get something to house these people in, right? You can rent it, you can lease it, or you can buy it. Because if you can buy the property, God bless you. But if you were like me when I first started, I was a poor social worker. How was I going to buy a house? Right? Now, today I know more about creative financing and how that could be possible. But we want to show you guys how to do something that's called rental arbitrage, where you're going to go and rent or lease a place. Then you're going to build relationships with social workers and case managers and social service providers, and that's your funnel system. So when people say, well, Derek, where do you get these people from? You get in these houses and they paying guaranteed rent. Derek, where do you get these people from? Hospitals, social workers and case managers in any kind of setting. And then the social service setting, the Salvation Army, the Goodwill, the mental health hospital, the substance abuse unit. And then if you like me, you will print so many flyers and put them all through the city. You're going to find people from Walmart, Publix, Kroger's, the gas station, the local park, the high schools. Because if you guys are following me on social media, I posted something literally about 2 days ago of a gentleman that saw my flyer in Walmart next to the eggs.
That's it.
Can you guys imagine that? And if y'all haven't seen it, please do yourself a favor after this maybe, but go watch my social media at Forston Consultants, also over at TikTok at Derek Forston. Some guy, military veteran, saw my flyer next to the eggs the dairy section in Walmart, Frankie.
Yep.
This guy literally called my phone and I drove to Walmart and I assessed him in the parking lot. Now, not to be funny, but if you guys look at his hands when I'm speaking to him, he's got a debit card and a handful of money. He had no idea that the shared living environment in which we offer is what we do.
Right.
And that's what makes us so powerful. And that's why I be pushing the churches and church leadership to also get into this. Because guess what? All the needs go anyway. Selena, all the needs go to the church anyway.
Yep.
So why not tell your pastor, your bishop about this? Why not, if you're already in church leadership, why not get into this? Because we call what we do, even though it's real estate, and even though we're doing a great work in the community, guess what this really is at the end of the day? Ministry. And guess what? Money follows ministry, guys.
Yeah.
Money also follows mastery. And we here at Forston Consultants, we have mastered the art of housing people in a shared living environment. And again, meaning that I'm going to go get a 3-bed, 2-bath home, and I'm going to take 6 people that would normally be homeless without me and without my housing program, and I'm going to house them folks. And remember what I just told you 3 minutes ago, they must have a guaranteed income. So if I get a phone call from a guy who said, Derek, man, I'm homeless, and boy, I heard you can help me. But Derek, I don't have an income. I don't have a job. I don't have SSI. I don't have SSDI. That's a Social Security income. Guess what, guys? As much as it hurt my heart to tell him, or the way my staff will relay that message, sir, I'm so sorry. We can give you some resources, but our program won't allow us to house you without, being able to pay for it. And y'all remember what my overall dream is too, right? One day I'm going to own a big old building and I'm going to house a lot of people for free. I'm going to put case management in it. I'm going to put social work in it. I'm going to put credit repair in it.
Everything they need.
Everything they need, Shay. In fact, Shay's program is probably going to do it. Shay has a nonprofit, y'all. She's probably going to do that. And then we're going to roll them over into the independent living. And then some of them are going to get their own apartment. Some of them are going to get their own house. But we're going to start it as from the stepping stones, though, right? So again, if you're new to us, that's essentially what we do, guys. We just don't call them group homes. We call them independent living facilities or a housing program. And again, the requirements to do this, I'm going to ramble these off real quick, and I'm going to introduce a couple of people that we have here on stage. And thank y'all so much for the questions on YouTube, because this whole night tonight, all of the questions and the content literally is going to be coming from questions that people asked on the YouTube channel and a discovery call I had today with Miss Tequila. So big shout out to Miss Tequila. If you're on this call, Tequila, if you're here, just put yes. And if not, she's also the inspiration for a lot of these, because she asked today on her strategy call a lot of the things that everybody asks me. So I'm just going to bring them here. One of the things, and again, this is the title. What is the requirement to start your own housing program? Y'all hear me say this all the time. You need a big heart for God's people. You got to love God and love people. All that's the same stuff, right? But that's the core. You should love God and love people if you're going to be into this. If you say, well, Derek, man, I ain't gonna lie, Derek, I'm naturally not a people's person. I don't like people. I don't like being around people. I'm claustrophobic. I don't like to be in crowds with people. And Derek, my patience is this short. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is probably not going to be good for you. This takes a love for people, a love for God, and it takes some patience. Remember, we're serving the individual that's on the fringes of life. A lot of the people that we serve have mental health issues. But while on medication, they're just as sane as me and you. They can operate just like you and I on their meds. That's why part of the requirement on the other side is they must be medication compliant. But let me stay on this side of the road, right? The requirement, again, is you got to love God, love people, and have some patience. Right. You got to be a good person in general. And even though this has the ability, guys, Pastor, to create a lot of money, a lot of income, we always tell people, if you only in this for the money, this also ain't gonna work. Yeah. Because if you're only in it for the money, man, you're gonna mistreat people that are already on the fringes of life, and you're gonna also make some bad decisions. And trust me, I'm a business coach. I got a lot of businesses that I can put you in that has nothing to do with your heart or your love for people. Right. But if you want to do this, Miss Shay, their heart got to be in it.
110 million%. I think what I would love for us to just sit here and give an example, Derek. We've always talked to people about the importance of being a people's person, right? Here's a great example of when you consult someone that states that they're a people's person and it's not that in the overall outcome, right? You end up seeing residents really treated poorly. You see the house go from, the ILF model or that pristine housing model to something that is well undeserving of even being called a housing program. You then see people being treated worse than they would have been treated in homeless communities. In homeless communities, they cultivate, they nurture these relationships and this sense of community. So what we did notice in that is pretty much everything went left. This individual's housing program, as well as the way they were treating the residents, and even the house itself, the way the house was being maintained. Remember, guys, this is all about giving people a sense of dignity, a sense of pride, a sense of belonging, a sense of safety. All of that matters in this. So when we say you have to be a people's person, because at times you may end up being that ear that they need to just listen to. They may need your ear to just vent. A lot of people don't realize that we're in the harshest time of the year for this space
Yep.
of housing.
The weather is cold outside.
Not even just the weather, Derek. Let's talk about
Holidays,
that part.
family
I think a
missing,
lot of people don't understand
people passing
that.
away. Yep.
Yeah, this is that time of the year where a lot of our residents that either come in or are already with us, we see a difference or a change in behavior because of their the lack of family, the lack of support, that structure. So we actually become that bridge. So again, being a people's person is a must, a definite must in this housing structure that we have coined as the ILF model. So Derek, back to you.
Good stuff. And I'll even just kind of give you guys one of the mantras that we live by when we're doing this, right? In this model, guys, I'll admit this is my life's model, but it just happens to fit with every business I do. And I hope you guys can adopt this eventually. But guys, in life, there's a few things that I want to do, right? I want to please God. I want to help people. I want to be respected by my community. And I also want to make enough money to be able to feed my family. Okay. If that sounds good to you, put yes. And again, I'll repeat those because this is my whole life mantra. I want to please God no matter what I'm doing. In the Bible, somewhere it says that when you do to the least of these, it's like you're doing it unto him.
Yeah.
So first of all, Pastor, I want to please God, but I also want to help people. My mom always says this, right? You want to see the hand of God move, help his people. My big brother, rest his soul, he always said it, man, you can't go wrong by helping people. And while I'm doing that, y'all, guess what I also want to do? I want to be respected by my community.
Correct.
Watch this, Shay. I used to jokingly say this, and I still kind of jokingly say it all the time. Guys, just here 5-6 years ago, I was a nobody. And trust me, I'm saying that with a, I'm trying to lighten it up. But to be honest with y'all, nobody knew me. People didn't respect me the way they do today. Guys, in my church, my community, the business and the people that I'm around, different associations, different boards that I'm a part of now. And guys, it's not because I'm so great, but it's because of what I do.
And how you do it.
And how I do it, right, Shay. And I'm going to let you actually speak on that part.
How you do it.
But not just that I'm Derek Forston, because guess who they really love? They love Second Chance Housing, which is my housing program. Now, Shay, you talk on that piece about not just what I do, but how we do it. Talk about it and the opposite side of it, Shay.
Listen, what we do is compassion. We serve our residents with compassion, right? Where, again, just like I stated before, we've seen people do this the absolute wrong way. We've had clients that have been removed from other facilities and relocated with us because of their previous work relationship with us and how their clients or their clients have excelled because of the stability that we provide them at Second Chance Housing, at the Angela Denise Foundation, at New Hope Housing. Come on, at all of these housing facilities that are underneath the ILF blueprint, the ILF organization. This is what every case manager and social worker encounters. And we make that we make that a part of our mission, is to maintain that throughout all the 200 plus ILF family members throughout the nation, right? We want to make sure that if a case manager encounters us in Orlando, that and they encounter us again in California, that they're getting the same processes, they're getting the same heart, the same drive, the same interactions as they would if they were working with us, with Derek Forston, Shanyeshe Forston, Kiosha Forston, any of the Forston family. That is the same thing we want to provide across the board. So again, you've got to be willing to show up appropriately, showing up as a professional, showing up as someone that has a heart for God's people, showing up for someone that carries dignity and not being prideful, but the pride of the Lord, being a part of how you step out. We step out and step into different communities and hospitals and meetings as the arms and hands, the hands and feet of Christ. We do that to reflect our relationship with God, right? And that's how we show up. So that is, I mean, pretty much it, Derek. I don't even know how much further to drill into that.
That's
it's
it.
just
I love
showing up the correct way.
Got to show up the right way, because
Yeah.
I'll give another great example of what Shay just said. If you've never watched our webinar, you need to do yourself a favor and do that. All of this came from the webinar, guys, and things that I saw while I was a social worker. So again, if this is your first time ever meeting me or meeting us, make sure you watch that free webinar, the ILF webinar, then eventually watch the HRA, which stands for Housing Referral Agency, where you can also do that. So people are either going to come with us for one to two things. You're either going to be the operator, or you actually want to be a housing referral agency to where you just refer people out. So you're either going to do it or you're going to be the referral agency. But again, Shay, I thank you the way that you broke that down, because again, in that webinar, we saw a lady doing what we telling y'all tonight. She was doing is y'all in rats and roaches. So when I was a social worker and when I was referring people to these group homes, as they were called,
Yeah.
and when I begged people to show it to me, nobody wanted to show me. So I just took a Saturday and I just went and looked at all the houses because I knew the addresses, right? And I saw a lady doing this, y'all, and she showed me her bank account. Nothing that she told me. She showed me her bank account on her phone. I'll never forget it. She took her phone and said, Derek, look. And sure enough, she had her Chase app pulled up, y'all, and she showed me that she was making $41,000 every month without fail. So when I went to see her places and what they look like, that's what broke my heart. And that's what started all of this. She was housing these people in rats and roaches and in squalor. The beds were on the ground. No beds had like bed rails, no pillow, no pillowcase, no comforter, and no sheets, just a bare mattress. And when I saw she was making 41 grand a month, now remember, just 10 minutes ago, I told y'all don't get into this just for the money, but don't get it twisted, y'all. I've been wanting to be rich my whole life. I don't hide that from people, and I wanted to make money. But Pastor, I wanted to help people too. That's why my wife tricked me to go to college and I became a social worker. That was all of God's plan. They thought she was kind of doing that. My wife tricked me to go to school, y'all. I didn't want to go to no college. They tricked me to go to college. I fell in love with social work, graduated, and didn't know what to do with it. And got on this job and saw people being mistreated in this lady house. I told y'all, man, I shot a whole video behind that. I had no business in that lady house. But y'all, I had to see it. Nobody would teach it to me.
Yeah.
And when I saw Neonta, this lady was making $41,000 a month, housing people in rats and roaches.
It was bad.
I said, God, you got to get me in this. I said, because God, I went to plead in my case to God, right? I said, God, I'll be different. God, I'll change the way homeless people are being viewed, and I'll change the way they live it. And I said, God, unlike this lady, I'll teach it to other people.
Yep.
I really think that's a big part of our success, is that we get it and we give it away. Like we literally now trust me, we have products and coaching and all of that. But you guys can join us every Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday and get this game for free. And if you're real smart during this holiday sale, prime example, our one-on-one coaching is 15 grand, right? Right now, during the holiday sale, it's only $4,700. And there's financing available. So my team has been putting it in the chat all night tonight. But again, if you've seen that webinar, or if you haven't, I'll tell you. Can you imagine? Oh, first of all, I always ask this question because I just have to. If you made $41,000 a month, would that change your life a little bit? Put a number 7 in the chat. If you made $41,000 every 30 days, would that change your life a little bit? Could you and your family live a little bit different? Could you be a bigger blessing to your church? Could you be a better family member, a better sister, a better brother? If you made $41,000, please put a number 7 in the chat. If you made 41 grand a month, would that change your life? Shay, what about you? Shay, remember that way back when we were begging God for money and crying, God, change my life. God, I need some more money. Dummy me, I'm on the job for 9 years before the light bulb came on.
Listen,
Miss Ashley, holy Shay, Ashley, I'm on this job praying to God. God, help me. Show me a better way. God, I want to help people. And God, I want to make a bunch of money. Dummy me, God put me in the middle of everything I asked him for. I said, God, I want to help people. He made me a social worker. God, I want to help people with housing. He showed me a lady that was mistreating people, Miss Selena, through housing. Everything I asked for, he showed it to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. Now, why did it take me 9 years for the light bulb to come on? I'll never get that. But my job was to be able to give it to other people like y'all. Take it, Shay.
It's time to go. It's processing. I think a lot of people, we can't go back and like I tell anybody, you can't unscramble eggs, right? So it's going through the process, learning what you need to learn in order to get out there and not recreate the same mess that other people have created. We are to go out and do things a lot differently and do them the correct way. So I don't call that a setback. I call that a strategic and divine set up to get out there and do the right thing and treat people the right way. So that's what I feel.
And Shay, I see a lot of 7s in the chat. So I asked if that 41 grand to change your life, and everybody said yes. So, and I'll add that other 7 because I was the same way. Y'all remember, I was making 28 grand a year. I said, God, how can I increase my finances? How can I? He was like, Derek, wake up, bro. I gave you a job in the middle of helping people, which you say you want to do. You talk about you want to be involved in real estate, Derek. I showed you people that are being mistreated through real estate, Derek. Yep. I was like, wow, God, you a genius. And as I'm begging people to teach this to me, guys, remember, I'm the social worker. So everybody that I was referring clients to, I begged them to teach me. And they always like, nope, not teaching you. Nope. And I say, God, I wouldn't be like that if I knew it. So guys, when I'll fast forward this story, as soon as I thought I had this thing, which was many years ago, I came on shouting it out to the world about what it was. Tricked my big brother into it. And if y'all don't know us, man, my brother passed away November 28th, literally just a few weeks ago. Burst our hearts wide open, right? My brother did this with me together. We taught this together. Now you guys get my beautiful wife. So Shay always taught it with us, but most people knew that me and my brother did this together. Right. And that was one of my brother's most famous sayings. I mean, trust me, he had a lot of them, right? But my brother always believed in doing good by people and everything else will follow. That's why when you watch that webinar and you watch the lady mistreat those people, because I took pictures of it. I knew people wouldn't believe me, so I took pictures of it.
It was a mess.
I said, Derek, the day you tell this story, bro, nobody gonna believe you. They're gonna think you hyping the story up to get more whatever. So I took pictures of it. So if you've never watched that webinar, I implore you to watch it. And then what's so great about what we do, we're gonna give you a free strategy call. So literally, when you done watching it, it's gonna give you an opportunity to set up a strategy call. In fact, Alex, if you do me a favor and just put that in the link as well. My assistant is also in this room. His name is Alex. He's a virtual assistant from Nigeria. And we couldn't do a lot of what we do technically without him. So big shout out to Alex for all of the links. So all those links that you see in the chat, anything that you guys need, let us know. Also, I want to apologize because last week I gave you guys a phone number. Actually, the last 3 weeks, I've been giving out the wrong phone number to our text campaign thing. Forgive me, y'all. I'm all over the place with that stuff. The text number, if you need anything from us, I'm going to give y'all the text number now, right? And there's certain phrases that you can put in for certain information that you may want, but I'm going to put it in the chat. And Alex, I didn't even tell you, bro. We've been screaming the wrong number for 3 weeks, Alex. So that new number is 407-326-0000. You guys can literally text that number to my team if you're interested in our scholarship, the ILF Mastery Blueprint, the HRA Business in a Box, our virtual assistant services, or website creation. Let us know, and you guys can literally use that text information to get to us about anything that you need. So I want to ramble off just a few more things really quick before we go to our folks here. There was another question in the chat that says, Derek, what are some of the factors of why these people need your help anyway? Why are we needed for this independent living facility, and what causes them to be homeless? Number one is mental illness. So if you guys understand what we do in my background, it's mental health. Now, today, because the economy is just so crazy and it's expensive to live anywhere, when I first started, we only housed a mental health guy. Now, today, I house the regular everyday Joe. I house the guy that got a job, the guy that works for the state, the city, school teachers, janitors, the guy that works at Walmart, McDonald's. No mental health problems at all. He just can't afford his own apartment or his own house. Yeah. But I'll be honest, y'all, my love is that mental health guy. I love the depression, bipolar, schizophrenia. The people that people turn their heads to and they ignore and won't house, that's my population. That's my background. So we teach you all how to do all of that and where to get the people from. But to make a long story short, sometimes mental health, and when people are not mentally stable, nobody won't want to house you. And that's why they should and need to be on medications to be medication or mentally stable. The other one is poverty. Simply just when you don't have enough money, right? That lands people to be homeless or to need a shared living environment. We've housed a lot of people in these last 12 months that say, Derek, this was not my story just here months ago. Derek, I used to have a job. Or Derek, I have a job. But Derek, I can't afford a house. I can't afford a down payment. Have you seen the interest rates? Derek, I can't afford an apartment. Derek, my background is terrible. Derek, I've been evicted 10 times. This is the guy that I house. So poverty, just not being able to afford it. The other one is declining wages. We get this a lot. People that have a full-time job, but because their days or hours are being diminished, and this happened a lot during COVID, that's another population that we serve a lot of, right? And then the very last one, and I'll make this really fast, addiction disorders. So it's sad, but addiction disorders and mental health kind of go together. So when people abuse alcohol, people abuse drugs, why do you think we target and we advertise to the substance abuse units, right? Substance abuse in 28-day programs. Because they, once the client goes in for treatment, it's time to be discharged. Now, where are they going? Family say, Derek, I kicked him out, Derek. So a lot of times addiction disorders is another reason of how that happens and why they're homeless. And I'll just land my plane there. There's a lot of more questions that I want to also get to, but I want to introduce Tiffany, Nianta, and Dornico. What's interesting about these three people that you're getting ready to hear from and Francesca is that they all were just like you guys one day, sitting here listening to me run my big mouth. And God put it on their hearts before they met me that they should be doing something similar to this. And luckily for them, God aligned us together. Now, they all do this, I ain't going to say full-time, because some of these folks that you're going to hear from tonight have jobs, and some of them are full-time entrepreneurs where they have multiple businesses, okay? So, Shay, I'll let you pick the order, but this is also a great time, guys, if you got questions for the people that we've taught it to, who's also doing it, because I can make this sound great. I've been doing this for a long time, but why not ask the questions to the people that we've taught it to see how they started and where it went from to where it is now? Miss Shay, jump in.
Let's go in the order of the stage that we see. So let's have Frankie, if she's available, go ahead and introduce herself. I'm just looking at who's beside me on this lovely platform here. Hello, Francesca. Introduce yourself to the wonderful people.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Francesca Dawson, and me and my husband own and operate New Hope Housing. Good to be here.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Wait a minute. That's it?
That was it.
So we're just doing intros, just intros. Okay. Yeah. So I'll come back with questions later then. Perfect.
Go for it. So let's go to Nianta. Nianta, welcome, sis. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are, where you're located, and the name of your business.
Good evening, family. Good evening, everybody. My name is Leonta St. Ford, and I own and operate Saints Care Independent Living here in Miami Gardens, along with my husband, where we house predominantly uh, military veterans.
All right, good stuff. Thank you so much, sis. So, guys, you heard it. Military veterans. A lot of y'all want to do that. In fact, type in the chat veteran if you've had the need or want to when you started your program to house military veterans. We get a lot of that. Type the word veteran if that's you. Tiffany, talk to us. How you doing, sis?
Hello, everyone. My name is Tiffany Walker, and me and my family own and operate Good Samaritan Solutions here in the Oklahoma City area. And I would say we house pretty much a little bit of everything. We have a pretty good mixture of individuals, men and women, that live in our homes. So, yeah, definitely just have a heart for housing people in general, and so we just kind of opened it up to whatever the need was.
Good stuff. Perfect. I love it. I love it. And Mr. Dornico, introduce yourself, sir, and tell the folks what's the name of your program and also where you're located.
Good evening, everyone. I am Dornico Ragel. We are Fresh Start Housing of Dayton, located in the Dayton, Ohio area. Vibing always in the middle of a photo shoot, but I still hear everything.
Okay, photo shoot.
Yeah, it's going down, man. If you're anywhere in my area, I got great rates right now. And yeah, it's just a nice. So we doing all baby. It's all November rains today, so that's kind of been the thing. I did an early shoot, but right now it's all her. But anyways, yeah, I'm definitely listening. I'm definitely interested in kind of vibing. Spoke to a few people. There's a need for just like a communication type of platform. That's kind of been what we've been talking about. I don't know what it will be, whether like a Zoom or something, but I think iron sharpens iron, and otherwise, and we just need to kind of be there for one another, whether it's encouragement, uplifting, prayer, even. And I think that's something that's been encouraged for us to do: get to know each other, talk to each other. You know what I'm saying? But somebody got to actually do that. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm excited. I'm open. I'm ready for the next chapter, whatever that is. I'm not fearful. I can't see what's ahead of me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't felt this way in like almost 2 years, but I'm just thinking, okay, Lord, you brought us this far. I just trust that He will bring us to bigger and better things, not just monetary gains or anything like that, but being being brought to tables where ordinarily you're not able to get to. Those types of
Right.
that favor that opens doors and opportunities, that kind of stuff is readily available to us, to the believer. Even otherwise, I think grace is grace for a reason. There's people, they don't understand, and they may not like, but God has grace for even the non-believer. You know what I'm saying? I look at it this way: what do you call giving a person a whole lot of time to get their stuff together? Right. So
Grace.
Right.
so I look at it like that. I don't want to be too long-winded. I know this is supposed to be an introductory or whatever, but y'all, I love the opportunity to vibe with y'all. I love just, what this means in totality, to those that are getting ready to start, to those of us that's been in for a little while. Just being able to be charged up every week feels good. And I think that's very, very important for us to be able to do that for one another. So with that being said, I'm gonna land my Jeep Wagoneer. How about that, Derek?
Good stuff. I love it. I love it. Good stuff, big bro.
All
So
right.
we'll be coming back to you because the way that I'll do this is this, right? Instead of me answering the next few questions, I'm gonna actually let you all answer it because I want to show the people how the coaching works. And Jaden says, I would love to have an opportunity to speak. So absolutely, we love that. If you guys have questions, long as you're not trolling, right? We love to pull people up, but also if you're in an area where you can't speak, we still want you all to hey, you guys. Hey, family. I see everybody back there. That's the Rigel family, you guys. Beautiful family. If you don't know Dornita and his family, that's somebody you want to get to know. He's the epitome of, I'll say a few words actually, change. He's the epitome of family, right? And he's the epitome of just do it. meaning this thing that we're all talking about tonight. So I'll come back to him, but that's how I'll kind of do that, right? So I want to show you all the people that we've taught this to, and I'll even chime in, but I'll go last of everybody out of the next few questions.
There's a
So
lot of questions in
there's
the
a
chat.
question in the chat that's also a part of what I was going to ask anyway. So I'm going to actually do that one first.
Go for it.
Somebody, and I want to go to Tiffany first, and I'll get everybody's opinion. So we'll go Tiffany, Francesca, Neonta, Dornico. So let's do this, right? They're asking, how long does it take to get somebody actually in your place from the day you start? So how long did it take you, Tiffany, from the time you had 0 clients to kind of where you are now,
Ooh,
Tiffany?
that's good.
It was pretty quick for me because I started advertising about it like when you guys first said, hey, you are getting ready to open up a home, start advertising. And even before then, even before I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do just yet, but I just started telling people that I was going to have an affordable housing program, or another addition to my affordable housing. And I did we had our grand opening on our open house on November the 16th, and by December the 1st, I had a gentleman signed up and ready to go. He moved in on the 3rd.
Wow.
Repeat that one more time. Open house November 16th, and
yes, and he was signed paperwork on December the 1st. Actually, he and his brother came to the house because I did allow them to come because I knew the brother. I did allow them to come and look at the home, but for Thanksgiving, during Thanksgiving. So technically they were ready for Thanksgiving, but he didn't get paid until the 1st and the 3rd of December. That was the only reason he didn't move in immediately.
okay, so I'm actually typing that so it can go into the chat. So I'm hearing November 16th, which is my birthday, by the way. And if I can remember correctly, Tiff and I had a strategy called right before the open house to continue to give guidance and leadership and all of what she needed to do. November 16th, and then first client moved in December, one more time, 3rd.
Yes, signed paperwork on December the 1st, moved in on December the 3rd.
You got it. Bam. How was that for the person that asked that question? Okay. Neonta's story is a little bit different. So let's go to Neonta. Neonta, how long did it take you to get your first client from the day you got the keys?
So I did my open house on October 26th. I moved my first client in actually the Friday after Thanksgiving. I forget the exact date. I think it was like the 24th or 25th of 2022. But he was supposed to move in like the week before. There was an issue with the roof that the owner had to take care of, so we couldn't move him in. But yeah, he signed his paperwork. Actually, in fact, he had signed his lease on the 21st. I remember now, the 21st. But he didn't move in until like a week later because of some issues with the roofing. So that was my first client. And then the second client didn't actually move in until like January. So he was in the house by himself. So I was there every day checking on him, making sure he was good and making sure he knew that somebody was coming, somebody was on the way. But once I got him in, I got calls consistently, and I was completely full by about I think
Hold
the
it,
end of
hold it,
April.
hold it, hold it. Don't take me to full yet, because I'm gonna get there. So October 26th
Gotcha.
was what again?
Open house.
That was my open house.
Okay.
And the first resident moved in about the 24th, 25th, whatever day that Friday fell on after Thanksgiving of that last year.
Okay, I gave you 2 extra days.
Got it. So Neonta first
So
client was, open house was
the
26.
and the first resident was around the 11th, that 26th to the 24th to 26th, between that time frame.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's amazing.
And just one more time, Neonta, tell them the kind of what's your population and how many beds do you have in your place?
So I house military veterans, and I can house a total of, I have 8 beds. I typically run 7 just so that I can keep a bed open in the case of an emergency. Someone has an issue paying or just need a bed, and that we can help in some way.
I love it. I love it. And again, guys, that's for everybody that want to house these military veterans. And I'll let Neonta briefly tell you all that, Neonta works with a program, and she probably won't go all into it, but she works with a program, guys, that's all they deal with. So much so that Neonta says to herself that she's got to kind of diversify where she's doing her advertisement, because everybody she gets, except the last guy, I think she told us about a week ago, Is that right, sis? That he's not a veteran? That one guy?
Yes, sir. I got my first non-veteran.
Wow.
Well, I guess it's been about 3 weeks
Congratulations.
now that we've been in this for a year. So it's been but it's definitely time to diversify. I will say, um, while I love housing military veterans, and I've housed someone up to the age of literally 93, and my youngest
Mm,
veteran to date has been 30, and they were all in the house
wow.
together. Um,
Wow.
but at the same,
Pause that for 2 seconds because I don't want nobody to miss this. Did you guys just hear that her oldest client to date was 93 years old? Now, y'all know we laugh and we joke and we play a lot, right? But how powerful is that you just house somebody that's 93 years old that would have been on the street? How do you put a 93-year-old on the street, y'all? But luckily for this gentleman, that company knew Neonta and what she does and what she offers, and Neonta did all of the things that she was taught during coaching for her to receive that call. Can you imagine that guy being outside today? Now, Neonta does live in Florida, but don't get it twisted. It's still 50 and 40 degrees in the morning sometimes. So it's not like where Dornico is, where it's snoring, or like where Tiffany is, but don't get it twisted. It still gets cold here in Florida.
Yeah.
So how powerful is that you can take a 93-year-old from homeless to hopeful because you just moved at the speed of instruction and opened this program that you learned from some bald-headed black guy that said, man, you can start your own housing program. And you don't need a license, you don't need no doctors, and you can do God's will and help people. That's powerful to me, y'all. Wow. 93 years old, man. Type in the chat me. If you think that you can do what Tiffany and Neonta just talked about, put in the chat me if you want to be this. If you want to be the gap filler or the bridge to helping somebody not be homeless. Watch this, y'all. I'm no pastor, I'm no priest, and I'm no bishop. I got a bunch of stuff wrong with me, right? But one thing that I do know, we love God, we love people, and we love real estate. And when you merge all of that together, you're doing God's will. Some people are going to do God's will in different ways, right? We do it through real estate. But one more time, we love God, we love people, and we love real estate. And I'm no genius. I didn't put that together. God did all of that by having Shay trick me to go to college, got a social services degree, got a job of where I saw all of this stuff. And God said, Derek, why not you? And then I said, why not y'all? And that's how this all started, y'all. 93 years old. That's powerful, man. Let's go to Francesca.
I want you to do me a favor real quick. So, Derek, I got Joanne in the chat on YouTube.
I saw that, yep.
Who stated, and she's, where is she? Is she in Racine, Wisconsin?
Racine, Wisconsin.
Racine, Wisconsin, one of our verified ILF family members. So she is a part of the ILF family. And took her 3 months to get her house up and running. And again, this is a wide range of opportunity. It just depends on the individual. It depends on the area. It depends on a lot of different things that can kind of cause that number to look a little different. When it comes to Miss Joanne, and correct me if I'm wrong, Derek, I think Derek is, with her coaching, Derek, you coached very strategically with her housing population.
Very strategic. First of all,
that takes plays a role.
And first of all the coaching is strategic and kind of specialized. But I say this all the time, and it's kind of fit Joanne.
Yeah.
But I teach the ladies and the women in this a little bit different than the guys, right? Because for all of y'all, my first goal is for y'all safety, right? Especially the women. Now, I'm not as worried about Dornico. Dornico's 6'4" and 230 pounds. I'm not worried about him. But my ladies and my women, even the ones that have husbands. But if you tell me, Derek, I have no husband, Derek, I have no boyfriend, and I have no boo, I'm really going to teach you differently because I want you to be careful. You don't have no big brother, no uncle, no boyfriend, no boo thing. So I'm going to teach you to be super careful on your assessments to make sure that you're bringing in the right people. And another thing Joanne chose to do was to do private rooms. So Joanne is very busy. She just typed into the chat, sorry, can't talk, I'm at work. See, Joanne's at work right now, but guess who runs her housing program? Her virtual assistant. So if you kind of new to us, our VAs run our programs now. So that's something that we'll talk about another day on another time. But guys, I don't run my program today the way I did 5 years ago. 5 years ago is all me. Today, Jess, who's a virtual assistant that lives in the Philippines, runs my program. Okay, so we'll talk more about that. But again, guys, this is what makes me excited is to be able to show people something that people hid from us. We go through the bumps and the bruises of it because trust me, y'all, I made a lot of mistakes doing this because nobody would teach it to me. So I went through the lawsuits. I went through the Channel 8 news, being splattered all over the news. Guys, I made a lot of dumb mistakes when I tried to do this thing because nobody would teach me. So all of the teaching and the curriculum you guys get and the knowledge comes straight from experience, not something that I read from a book. So many years ago, y'all, it was just one me and one house. Today, we're in 25 different states. I think it's 26 now because a few of y'all just bought again. We're in 26 different states now, and there's over 275 ILFs. That's the goodness of God. It has nothing to do with how great I am. God just took something that he already had me involved in, which was social work, and allowed me to start a business and a ministry from it. My job was to share it to other people and not be a crab in a bucket. Absolutely. Okay, so I want to go to Francesca real quick too, because I want to hear Frankie's story, and I want to bounce back to Joanne's story because some of y'all heard Tiffany say it was pretty quick. Neonta was pretty quick. Joanne took 90 days. Will you give up if it take you 90 days? That's another question, right? So I commend Joanne for sticking with it because today that same house is full and she's working on her house number 2. So Joanne is a real estate investor. Joanne is a little bit more bougie than us, y'all. A lot of us rent our properties. Joanne is a buyer.
Yeah.
Joanne buys the property. Can you imagine what her overhead looks like and her profit margins and the amount of people she can help? Joanne chose to do private rooms too, y'all. She don't do 2 per room. That's another conversation. Remember, in this one model, there's many different, right, settings. So it's the private model, it's the private suite model, then it's the shared model. Those are all different. But back to Francesca. Frankie, tell the people how long it took you. What's the name of your program again, Frankie, and where you're located?
Hey, so I am New Hope Housing, and we are located in Orlando and Kissimmee, Florida. So I believe we hired Forston Consultants in February of 2019, and we secured our first property around May 2019. And then it took about like maybe 2 weeks to kind of get everything set up in the house. And then I believe we had our first client by June. Yeah. That was our timeline.
So run it through me one more time, Frankie, just really slow because I want everybody to catch it. You got the coaching from us, and then when did you get the keys to the first place?
May.
In
May. And it
May
took about
2019. You got it. Okay.
So so it took about 2 weeks to get the housing set up, putting up the cameras, getting everything situated in the house. And I want to say by June, like early June, like we were still able to get payments by June 1st or so. So we had I believe two clients.
I love it. And Frankie, tell the people, who do you house? Like, what is your population and how did you choose that?
So I house displaced individuals in my ILF setting, which I take men and women. At there was a time that I was even I even housed foster that has aged out. So I house anyone from the ages of 18 up until whatever age, as long as they're able to, still live and thrive independently without nursing or supervision or anything like that. So that's with that. And then I also, in my licensed home, I house persons with developmental disability. And I also have housing for traveling medical professionals.
Wow.
Now you said a whole mouthful right there. So just in case I don't want nobody to get confused, right?
People in the back.
Frankie houses a multitude of different kinds of populations. So if, in case if you missed it, she has an ILF. She has a licensed group home, which is by APD. What does that stand for, Francesca?
Agency for Persons with Disability.
So that means she needs a license for that. She has to own the property. Francesca is the greatest example ever, guys, of the opposites of this. Frankie, also give the people, just in case of who's listening, how long did it take you to start an ILF? And you just told us that, but in case if they were not listening, And how long did it take you to start that license place?
So the ILF, roughly around 3 months. It took us to start, from coaching to acquiring the housing and accepting clients and making people from homeless to hopeful. And for the licensed home, it took about 3 years from start to finally
3
accept
years.
client. Yeah. It took 3 years. It was a lot
Lord
of
have mercy.
a lot of paperwork, a lot of back and forth, a lot of classes, a lot of inspections. And that was all during COVID. So I'm sure that's probably what, helped with that process. But I am hearing that it does take a little bit of time.
Put the word wow in the chat, like my other homegirl did, if you think that's crazy in terms of the difference. I left from the coaching to getting the house and the clients a couple months. Basically, an ALF or a licensed group home, 3 years. Wow. Put the word wow in the chat if that's kind of like wow to you. Thank y'all so much for everybody that's here. If you haven't subscribed yet to the YouTube channel, there's over 50 people on the YouTube. That's a lot of people for us. So thank y'all so much. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that, because what my goal is tonight, remember, I promised y'all this. My goal was to give y'all a bunch of value. Hopefully we're doing that, right? But also give you an opportunity to get into it. So my team is putting a lot of opportunities in the chat. But thank y'all for being interactive in the chat. Thank you for the questions. And we're going to continue it, because I got more questions and I'm going to let them continue to answer it. Now watch this. Dornico, remind the people where you're located, the name of your program, D, and that same question, right? How long did it take you to get your first client, bro?
He may be available.
D still what? Oh, he doing that photo shoot still,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I might be able to tell a little bit of D story, but if not, I'm gonna go to Shay. Shay, you my beautiful wife, right? I pulled you from corporate America.
You did.
You had no clue what this was, Shay.
Not a one.
Give them a little story about that, and how long did it take you to start the Angela Denise Foundation from the day you walked off that job crying to me, and take them through all of that, Shay.
Yeah. So
and give it to them.
Honestly, so the Angela Denise Foundation was a product that was built during a time of just utmost aggravation and frustration. I just finished a big, huge, pivot out of a huge corporate project, several corporate projects, and it was just getting to be a lot. The more I did, and the more I gave, the more they needed and the more they wanted. You know what I'm saying when I say that. And it just got to a point where it was just too much. And I came home one day, and Derek always tells it, I'm one of those people, I'm tough as nails. I don't do a whole bunch of crying unless I'm angry and ready to fight. And it was one of those days.
In worship,
Or
in worship, she does cry at church, but other than that, Shay's not a crybaby, y'all. That's kind of me. Like I cry in the middle.
But no, seriously. So Derek and I sat down in that time frame of that frustration, and he was like, "What do you want to do? When is your last day?" And I'm looking at him like, "What you mean? What do I want to do? Like, this is all I know. This is what I love. I'm just frustrated at the moment, but I'll figure it out." So we built, we kind of brainstormed the Angela Denise Foundation, and he was like, "All right, so for your birthday, what I'm going to get you is I'm going to buy you a nonprofit organization, get you set up, get you ready to go." And that's pretty much what that did. Initially, I was kind of stuck. I knew it was going to be housing, but I really didn't know the intricacies of the housing model. I let that be Derek's thing and not mine. So it was more of a like, well, what am I doing? What am I really going to do with the Angela Denise Foundation? So it took a lot of brainstorming. It allowed me to kind of get around other individuals, surgeons, doctors, some of the professionals that I worked with in my corporate job, and kind of brainstorm with them and see what some of the needs were in their medical practices. What were some of the stumbling blocks? What were some of the pain points that they were facing when it came to our community? So that's how we got to the Angela Denise Foundation, because I noticed that a lot of the pain points, although remember what I said, I did not understand the importance of the housing structure or the ILF model. But when I started having the conversations with those that I worked with on a regular basis, and I realized that they were having the same exact pain points when it came to ongoing care for those that had surgeries and different obligations in the medical realm, that they couldn't render follow-up services because of a lot of their patients were still deemed homeless and underneath that poverty line, so they weren't able to render those services effectively. So I was like, okay, wait a minute, Derek is really up to something here. This is really a thing, right? So when I did get the opportunity to say la vie to corporate America, I initially took over the women's house. And that was pretty exciting. A lot at that point in time. Derek had partnered with an organization that had women under the age of, they were about, I'm going to say from their late mid 20s, excuse me, to like mid 30s. So it was a house full of young women, so that was interesting. But we were able to utilize that property for those women and those women only. Then we obtained a second property in a different area, and that population type was for, again, some of the younger girls, but I was able to mix. And that worked amazingly. That took us about, from my first house being completely full, that was consistent. I walked into that. But when I built my second facility, and that was with these hands, it took about, I'm gonna say 2 weeks, because I already had the relationships going and they were already waiting for the housing. So in that time frame, I got phone calls. I did receive some phone calls. Assessments really didn't work out. Some of those residents were more needing of, the ALF model, or the more like Francesca's skilled living facility model. So we were unable to take those residents. But once that had kind of dwindled down, within 2 weeks, I got that house full. So it wasn't very long, Derek, but it was strategic in nature. Everything about it was strategic. And for me, it was learning the population, and that the need was bigger than the mental health population, but also the medical health population was feeling that same pressure as well, and did not have this model to render them services or provide their patients with housing that was suitable for them to be able to render ongoing care. So that's a little bit about my story. I hope that helped.
Good stuff. So, guys, as you see, you don't really need a lot of experience coming into this, right? I jokingly say this, but I'm serious, right? My wife and my brother are two of my best students, right? I kind of tricked my brother to get into this. He was very successful. My brother chose to keep his job, right? If you didn't get a chance to meet my brother, you missed a great guy, right? My brother always talked about from the standpoint of doing this and keeping your job. See, y'all, I thought I was cute. And when I got 3 of these, I was like, see you. I'm gone. So I resigned from my job once I got 3 of these.
He was fancy.
And probably would have left a little bit sooner, but I had a partner when I first started.
Yeah.
Big mistake, right? That's a whole nother teaching, right? If people don't have the same heart that you do, go in this by yourself, or do it with your spouse or your family. But the person must have the same heart that you do, and they must have the same heart and vision for what this is, right? And again, it can't all be about the money. Okay. I want to go to Tiffany again, because I want to keep the questions going, but instead of me answering them, I want them to hear from the people that we've also taught it to. So, Tiffany, how long is a client or a resident allowed to stay at your place once you admit them in? Is there a certain time that they can stay? Is it 6 months and you're out of here? How do you do your program, Tiffany?
No, they can stay as long as they want, as long as they are following rules, paying rent on time, not disrespecting anybody, and doing what they're supposed to do. They're more than welcome to stay. I mean, I hope that they can use our place as a stepping stone to move to the next, just because I want to see them continue to do well in life. So I'm hoping that that's what they use our place for. But if not, then hey, you're more than welcome to stay. We'd love to have you.
Good stuff. Neonta, if you're still there, how long can your military veterans stay in your program?
Same thing Tiffany just said. They can stay indefinitely as long as they are paying rent and following rules, not causing any problems with the other residents or anything like that. I actually just had a guy move to California recently, what in October, and I actually talked to him today, and he got a job, and he's back. He's in a place, and he's actually connected with the program out there as well, with an SSVF program. So as long as they want to stay, if we're a stepping stone, that's always something that when we do our
Yep.
assessments, we always make sure that we tell them, we want to be a stepping stone for you guys, but you are welcome to
Yep.
stay for as long as you'd like. But if you see yourself getting that apartment, and we can assist you in any way in that, while you're here at Saints Care, we're definitely here for that.
I love it. I love it. And I love it when we coach you all and teach you all and y'all use the same verbiage we do. Like, she sounds just like me and Otis. Like, like literally that answer she gave you guys is the way I would answer that. So love it. Francesca, what about you at New Hope Housing? Is there a time frame on your program?
No, there's no timeline or deadline when they have to leave. As long as they're jiving well with everyone and not causing any problems or disruptions or disturbances, they can stay as long as they like. I'm proud to say that at least about 85% of my residents have been with me over 2.5 years. I still have someone that's been with me since 2019 when we opened. So yeah, I have a lot of longevity, and as long as they're cool, we cool, they could stay.
All right, good stuff. I
Derek,
love it.
I do
Jay,
want to jump in real.
Go ahead,
please do.
Neonta.
Please do.
Can I share something real quick? I
Please
do
do.
want to say, I do have one resident right now who actually I just talked to a case manager that we're in the process of trying to get him an ALF, just because of functional decline. So some things have changed with his health. So just making sure that you in the midst of caring for your clients or housing your clients, making sure that you're mindful of what's going on with them, so that in the event that they start to decline a little bit, whether it be mental health or physically, you can step in and get them going to where they need to be, so that they're safe and everybody else in the house stays safe as well.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And this is free game, guys. Like, all of this that you guys are hearing is literally from the coaching that they've received over time. And what's also very interesting about these folks that are speaking to you, right, which is now family to us, Dornico, Tiffany, Neonta, Francesca, they now today don't need me as much as they did a year ago, 2 years ago. Frank ain't needed me in 3 years, probably. Frank been around a long time, y'all, right? So once you get this isn't rocket science. You just get it, and you're always connected. So if you run into a problem, like every now and again, Frankie will call me every other 4 months. Say, D, well, I never seen this before. What would you do if this happened? But other than that, Frankie don't call me every day like she used to. Now, when we first started, Frankie called me 7 days a week. When we first started, Donico called me 7 days a week, twice a day. Tiffany and Neonta kind of wasn't like that, but most people in the beginning called me every day. And then the biggest compliment is that one day I'm going to realize, like, wow, Frank ain't called me in a while. Like, wow, Tiffany ain't called me in a minute. She must be doing all right. And that's one of the biggest compliments that we can ever receive, is when the phone call starts slowing up. That means you got it now. And you're expanding, and you're getting house after house after house. Okay. So Dornico, whenever you come back, big bro, you just jump right in, because I want to ask you some other stuff. But thank y'all for the questions, and I'm gonna keep them going because there's a few more. Don't forget, guys, this is a 90-minute room usually, and I'm here to about 7:30. So make sure that if you guys got questions or concerns, let us know, because we want to answer all questions before we go. Remember, my goal was to give the game and then give an opportunity for you guys to get in it. And I'll take this opportunity right now before Donico comes back. Again, guys, if you want our one-on-one group coaching, it's called our ILF Mastery Blueprint. It is the exact blueprint that you need to go from 0 to 100. And literally, guys, this one-on-one coaching, every product that we've ever created, we give it to you. And every ebook that we ever created, we give it to you.
And those are products.
Shay, I'm on the road, man. You don't see I'm just going on the road there? Shay jumping?
Yep. Because it's all the products
Go ahead,
pertaining to this model. I don't want people to think that it's just products,
Yeah.
I want them to know that it's products all pertaining to the evolution of the ILF.
Everything.
And so that's what I wanted to interject in that. Go ahead, Derek.
So I can jump in again, Shay?
You got it.
Okay,
baby.
got it. So every product that we ever created, every ebook, the book about how to get the house, how to add it here lately that we've never done before was I give you guys my accountant for up to 6 months. So my accountant is not involved in that. For your setup of your LLC or your nonprofit, your QuickBooks, all of your transactions and things of that nature to be set up the right way and to keep you out of jail for doing business wrong, I give you my accountant. We give you a complimentary virtual assistant, right? So there's a lot of stuff that comes with the ILF Mastery Blueprint, and normally it's 15 grand. And even at the 15 grand, guys, it's worth every penny, because the lives that you're going to be able to change and the monetary value that it also brings back to you and your family and your community, it outweighs that 15 grand all day. But for the sale price of only $4,700, it makes it a no-brainer. It makes it almost to where if you don't get it and this is something you want to do, you're doing yourself a disservice, because we also got financing, third-party financing, we got in-house financing, all kinds of stuff, guys. So again, the ILF Mastery Blueprint is only $4,700, and that's our one-on-one coaching to where you get me, and you're tied to me unless you divorce me. So our program don't end at some certain date. Now, contractually, it does, according to my lawyer, we had to put something. So I think it says 6 months or 20 hours. But we taught Francesca this 5 years ago, and she's still hanging around. So we can't get rid of Frankie, and Frankie can't get rid of us.
And Frankie already told us many years ago that she is our professional wedgie.
She's
right?
stuck. She said wedgie. So every business that Francesca starts, guess who's a part of that? Us, in some kind of way. Now, even though she went outside to go look for that other coaching for the licensed group home, we still played a little bit of hand in that. So because we're family, we're always going to be involved. If Frankie called me tomorrow and said, Derek, I don't know, but I had a dream last night. I want to start a dog kennel and a pizza parlor in the same place. Guess who's going to help her? Me and Shay, Forston Consultants, because that's what we do. So when you guys become family, it's not even all about the ILF Mastery Blueprint or the ILF. We're just going to teach you business coaching in general. So we've also involved our business coaching into it. My team builds your website. Guys, it's crazy all the things that are involved in it. And if you don't know, just go to forstonconsultants.com and check it out. Or Alex, if you can do us a favor and maybe put it in the chat of everything that's involved in the ILF Mastery Blueprint so that the people know. And again, the biggest key is that it's not 15 grand. Now, January 1st is 15 grand. But right now, guys, for $4,700. Oh, and watch this. If you're in here and you want to share it with somebody else, no problem. So if you want to partner with somebody in this room or somebody that you trust, we also do that. Just let my team know and we'll send you guys separate invoices. And again, that number to text any of this information that you need or want is 407-326-0086. Okay, now let's continue with today's room. Shay, you had something?
No, I was just saying that number is going to be scrolling across the bottom of the screen.
Oh, perfect.
For the duration
technology?
of the room.
That is good stuff. So let's answer some more questions from our people here. Let's go to Dornico. Dornico, somebody wanted to know, big bro, how long did it take you to get your first client from the day you got the keys? And Dornico, you got 3 ILFs now. So give us the example of the first ILF.
Okay, that's cool. The first one, I was still being a student, still being coached and coached very well. Putting things together. I seen exactly how you guys did it, and you can look at the YouTube videos and you can say, oh, that seems easy. Yeah, but then you have to look at where you are, assess who you are, and you know what I mean, and pioneering an area, right? I had to factor that in as well. So building those relationships in a population, in an area where it's not as booming like Orlando, you got people from everywhere, and you have a need that is robust. And certain parts of Ohio, it's not so robust like that. But then again, it was. I just didn't know that, so I had to learn a lot. So it took a few months. I would say about a month. Yeah, 1 month and like a day or something like that, because I recall having to pay a
month in a day.
portion of that. Yeah, a portion of that rent. I think it was either less than a month or a month. But
Okay.
afterwards, you have to be a quick study, because if you're not a quick study, you're gonna find yourself coming out of pocket a lot. And the way to not have that happen is to move at the speed of instruction. You say that so much that people kind of brush that off.
Mm.
No, don't brush that off. Get the information and take action fast. You're either gonna succeed or you're gonna fail. You win on both sides of the coin, because if you fail quick, you're gonna learn from that failure and you're gonna make the adjustments, pivots, or whatever, and then you're gonna go win and keep winning. So some people are shying away from the failure, not realizing that the failure is the blessing. That's what you need to do, and do it quickly. So I
Quickly.
look at things like you know, the second house and how things were a little bit
Give that
easier.
give that one too. So on
Yeah.
house or ILF number 2, how long did it take to get the first client?
Two, I was stacked. I was ready. I brought, you know, with one being the way it was, and us getting one and two at the same time, but there was a delay in the finishing of two. All the mistakes that I was making, I was learning and making adjustments at one, but also lining things up strategically for two. But it was slow. It was dragging. You know what I mean? When three comes, not only um, was I not ready for it to come, I was more ready as far as knowing what to do, and already having those relationships, right?
And what do you mean by you wasn't ready for it to come? Let the
So,
people know what you mean by
so
that.
what I mean by not ready for it to come, I had already had that aha moment. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I know exactly, the ins and outs of what I was doing, but I already transitioned into putting my sauce on things and doing things my way, and pretty much nailing down my own way of doing things, how I do things, tweaking policies and procedures, uh, being picky. I was at the picky stage, you know what I mean? And at that stage, I looked at some places, I reached out to some people, but I was like, hey, I'm not even pressed to even do a third house. I'm gonna just keep doing this. And I was doing other things, jumping into the wholesaling and getting busy in other areas. But sometimes you get pulled back to where you're supposed to be. The gentleman called me and said, hey, I've been watching you guys for some time now. I
Wow.
think this property will be a great fit for what you're doing. Number one, I thought, okay, this dude weird. What
So a property owner that reached out to you.
yeah, I'm like, this dude weird. What do you mean he been watching me? So I'm sus. Like, I'm really
You watched us, D. Same
that's
thing.
right. So
Before
okay,
you came in.
okay. Stand corrected. But anyway, so I said, well, it ain't gonna hurt nothing to go look at it. So I go over there and I look at it, and I'm just like, all right, I see the bus stop right in front of the house. I'm like, all right, it's right down the street from the hospital. I'm thinking it's gonna be it had a whole lower level with the whole kitchen and all that. So, and then it was zone commercial and residential. So everything specifically that I prayed to God about, it was being presented to me. So I'm thinking, okay, this is gonna be an issue some kind of way, but it wasn't an issue. It unfolded the way that it did, and I got one lady in there, and she was all by herself. I was taking that. The lady came quick. She was like, I wasn't even done setting up. That's how fast the third one I
Wow.
got in there. So she came in while I was still putting beds in and setting up.
Wow.
So, but people were like, whole like, it's one thing when you had that regular person that that may have SSI, SSDI, or that working person, but when an entity and everyone shows up with multiple vans. They coming out the vans. I'm thinking, oh my God, right? So 12 at a time for the first couple of days were coming to visit, walking through, checking things out. And I would just be quiet. I learned that selling cars. Don't say nothing. The first one to speak, lose. So I just try to hear all that I can hear. And it was all great things. And I started learning that, you know, I don't have to be qualified by man. God qualified me. Nobody's gonna understand the favor that He has for me. Nobody can stop it either. That's that offends people when I say that, but I can't care. I walk upright before him, right? And the word tells me all things he will not withhold from me. So when people mad at you because of what's happening in your life, okay, talk to him. I say that, and that bothers people. It will, So, anyways, I had that kind of mindset when I started the third house. Um, yeah,
What do
relentless.
you think you would have did different on now having the third one now? What do you think you now with the experience? What would you have done different with the first house, knowing what you know now to get it filled faster?
There's a level of boldness that I think helps you. There's a level of confidence that if you have and demonstrate helps you. Um, People respond to confidence. You know what I mean? Being a risk taker, that's a trick question to some people. I always take the risk. You know what I mean? And you doing those assessments, do you take risks? Everybody saying, no, I don't take risks. That's not smart. I do take risks. I think successful people take risks at times. Everything is a risk. When that joker telling you, oh, he don't do drugs, he don't drink. Yeah, I've been there, done that. Oh, medically, I can't drink. As soon as I left, I looked at him on the camera, cracking open a case, double fisting them bad boys, right? They lied to you. Ladies and gentlemen, the people you serve will lie to you,
Yeah.
to your face. So I learned to trust the discernment God placed in me. That story they gave you might break your heart. Verify the story. Amen, somebody. Verification helps. Being wise, being smart, taking your time, trusting your partners. Yeah, delegating tasks. I'm stepping on my own toes. The VAs make sense to me. I'm leaning towards that. That's desperately gonna need that. So yeah, that's coming, y'all. But anyways, I think um, I have a take no prisoners attitude. I stay humble. I stay teachable, and I love people, and I love the Lord on top of that. So I started seeing myself the way God saw me. That's it. That's all. You're worthy. I don't care what your life has been. You're okay. You're gonna be all right. Let's push toward that end goal. What is the end goal? Job well done.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't care what
Yep.
else
Yep.
happens to me. I want to
That's
hear
it.
him say that to me.
That's it.
That's all I want. And it's
That's
like
it.
you're gonna lose. You're gonna fail. People gonna break your heart. You're gonna make mistakes. But it's funny, you're serving people in far greater conditions. I mean, their level of desperation is greater than yours. Their need is greater than yours. So you kind of push your issues aside and you become his hands, and he's using you to be a blessing to other people. And all of a sudden, what you thought was bad about your situation ain't so bad. You know what I'm saying? How broke you thought you were, you realize you ain't that broke, man. There's somebody worse, excuse me, than you are. And that's kind of, it's a humbling experience all the way around. And for it to be a business and you be able to help, I'm at the point now where we're transitioning from the sacrificial stuff to profit, to that profit side, where okay, things are turning around better. Money is coming in greater amounts. So all the time, I have things strategically stacked. I don't just get paid on the first. It's like every other day, it seems, but primarily a number of people pay in the middle of the month, a number of people pay in the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
All that is strategically done because I'm able to cover things. I have a contingency where things come up. I don't know. I'm a lot smarter than I was. I was really, really naive, and I had passion, but I had to be taught and I had to learn some things, and I had my slip ups, and you know what I'm saying? Nobody is exempt from needing to be taught and trained or retrained. It's, I don't know. You said to me something like this, that you're gonna learn most of this business from the people you serve, and that's the truth.
Yep.
They're gonna teach you. I remember those conversations
Yep.
with Otis. Yeah,
Oda
they're gonna
said that a
teach
lot. A
you.
lot.
Yeah, and that's the truth. You know what I mean? I've learned not to be foolish. Why would you give someone a private room that don't have at least a year sobriety? Dummy me. I'm gonna
That
use
is
your phrase. Dummy me was letting people come in. uh, I mean, they're in there shooting up heroin, getting high as a kite. I'm like, I had to really think, and then I had some guys that say, "Hey, man, I know you don't know about this life, but he's in there using." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Trust me." So I got a
Yeah.
lot of nurses in my church, and I'm looking in the room. I'm seeing blood splatter across the wall. She said, "Yeah, that's from somebody hitting the vein wrong." Uh, pull his paperwork. Pull the paperwork. Drug of choice, heroin. So I was like, wow. So you learn, and then that assessment had to be. I changed the assessment at least 6 times so far, if not more.
Yep.
I had to add more. I'm at 4 pages now. When I started, I had 1 page, and I thought I was doing something. I was like, yeah, I was so
Because
proud
the
of
people don't
myself.
understand that when you run into something and you run into
you
problems or
modify your
situations, you
process.
modify that whole thing, right? And that's why we give it to you all in that Word document. So I'm glad you said that. Keep going, D.
Yeah, but the thing I would really lean on the most, there's a lot of experience that we all have, all of us in our own perspective areas of this country, good and bad. But what my takeaways would be how to overcome that. So when you bring in a bad person, yeah, that's something that's probably a whole 90 minutes, right? What happens when you bring a bad person in and then the people are saying, man, I can't take it, I'm gonna have to leave. If you're lucky, they'll say that to you.
Right.
Normally
They'll
they
let you
tip
If
know.
you're lucky.
They just
they
go.
tip you toe out.
Yeah.
So I've been
In the
blessed.
middle of the night.
Yeah, I've been blessed. So it's like, and it's like you have this relationship because hey, this is the first person I ever brought in to go full circle. So it's like you're protective of that person too. You kind of
Mm.
like y'all are closer than everybody else unofficially.
Hmm. Hmm.
They're you know what I mean. And it's like you trust them, and they don't want to give you all the information. They the one that's carrying your policies and procedures as far as saying, hey man, this don't happen, that don't happen, they don't do this or they don't do. They're echoing everything that you're saying. But when they leave, oh man, like my main men's house, I got all new people, rookies. This is a new experience for me because I'm starting all over. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
all my snitches gone, my good snitches too. Oh man. I'm like, and I'm teaching them. I'm like, listen, I need you to really snitch, like not don't halfway snitch. I need details. He laughed. I said, don't lie. I'm serious.
He's not like the old snitch who told you everything.
Yeah, I had
Everything.
that. Oh my god, you know what I'm saying? But I think that you're not going to be the same. I will say this: I am not the same person that I was starting out. I
Yeah.
don't think I'll
Yeah.
ever be the same
Yeah.
after doing this. Uh, there's being used by God, and then there's allowing God to use you. Uh, I,
Amen.
I allow God to use me
That's
to be
good.
a blessing to other people. It's just not him seeing the picture and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna pull him over there." I want to willingly serve. I think it's time for us to willingly serve. Some people bored, and this is the spot to be for tonight. Please don't let that be your story because you can actually take this information and go change somebody's life forever. Don't cost you nothing to do that. But if you're gonna do the business thing, lock in, get trained, become a student to the game, and go out there and kill it, man. It's not. It really ain't that hard to set up and start, and you will find that you're either great at it or maybe you're not great at it. And like you said, hey, Airbnb is calling everybody. You know what I mean? It's
There's a ton of different choices and ways to house
yeah,
people, right?
yeah,
So
man.
yeah.
I mean, I really enjoyed myself when I came to Orlando. I mean, the red carpet was rolled out. Uh, I had a great vehicle because of other things that you're able to do in something like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great people poured into me. Great people opened their arms and
Yeah.
welcome. Me and my family. It's like you don't get that everywhere. I have to sit and put that down. Yes, that's something that I experienced it, something that I found to be amazing. You know what I mean? Then to tie in and have a family, it's only been like 2 years, but I feel my life is better. You know what I mean? Will things be great for me always? No. Dark days are coming, y'all. You know what I mean? I'm sure of it. And it's like, but when they come, I know that I can stand on the word of God. I know that I can continue being a blessing to his people despite what I go through. I'm understanding Job a little bit more. I'm understanding some of these characters in the Bible a little bit more because you have to experience things to really understand someone's story. I know what losing feels like. I've lost most of my life. I know what death does to a person. Experienced that most of my life. This is new to me. Feeling a sense of freedom in regards to being able to provide a service for someone and the appreciation from that fill me completely.
Yo,
It's something that I really, those that know, you know what I'm saying?
yo,
I feel fulfilled. If I was selling something or doing, I don't have that feeling. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You
this is
still you
different.
still
Yo,
walk away empty. I walk away full. They call me to the houses. I go interact with them. I fellowship with them. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing. Right now, my church is adopting all of the houses. They're gonna provide Christmas dinner for everybody.
Come on.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing, man. To be able to change. They didn't know where their Christmas dinner was coming from. Didn't have a clue. You know what I'm saying? So, can we do more? Yes. Every time I think, I don't find myself saying, "Oh, I've done enough." Ooh, no, there's so much more to do. I just keep pushing myself. Keep pushing yourself. Don't plateau. That mountain is still able to be climbed more. So that's how I look at it. But to have people to look up to and to build yourself up by being influenced, that's the blessing too. If that wasn't there, that would make this very hard to do unless the person lived in Orlando
yo.
with you guys. So I see. I don't know if I haven't heard nobody really hone in on that. Without this type of atmosphere and having access to it, you find yourself all alone with some policies and procedures and trying to figure it out and trying to understand how I'm gonna make this happen. But with this atmosphere, not only are you able to do it, but you can do it correctly. You can do it well. You
Yeah,
can do it with excellence. And
with dignity.
yeah, where's the integrity? For we gotta have it. We're accountable for what we do and what we don't do. We're accountable for what we say and how we treat people. We are held accountable for that, whether we like it or not. Some people don't embrace that. Yeah, you are accountable for that. Yes, you don't have to disrespect people. You
Yeah,
don't have to be evil and misrepresent Christ. Let's represent him well. You know what I mean? Respect others. I got people of Muslim faith, people of all types of backgrounds. They never feel some type of way. They're loved and respected despite of their differences of opinions and religion and so forth. That's amazing. That ain't no policies and procedure. It just is. And
yeah.
I don't have nobody that's on that other stuff. Everybody loves and respects. I got great residents right now, amazing residents right now. My days of I had a I had a cat burglar. I mean,
Hey, we gonna actually bring up a data where we talk about the knuckleheads,
yeah,
right? A
yeah.
lot of us talk about the great clients and the ones that we get after we kind of go through the ones. But one night, we just gonna talk about all the bad. Now we done this probably I'll say about 5 months ago, and a bunch of us just kind of poured out about bad stuff. We're gonna make a night where everybody kind of picks out their worst client or their worst situation, and we all gonna talk about it. So I like the fact that when Dornico speaks a lot, man, he speaks really real, right? I'm going to come with a lot of teaching and a lot of examples, but every time Dornico he come on. And Dornico, if you look at the chat, bro, what people are saying every time you speak, you bring that real out of it, right? Not that we're not being real, but you're going to bring it to where it's situationalized, if that's a word, right? You bring what I say and you put light onto it in terms of what you're going through and what you've been through and how you handled it. So I think that's why people always like to hear when you talk, bro, because you're going to involve God in it. You're going to involve perseverance in it. And somewhere in there, you're gonna be showing people how not to give up. Because it can be easy to give up in this, right? Talk about that if you want to, but I love it how you always show both sides of it, but you always show that there's no room to give up. Who am I to give up? That's kind of like your attitude, and I appreciate that about you, D.
I have some, I would say, disabilities in regards to sometimes what's inside of me I can't articulate. I don't know how to do that sometimes. That's plagued me my whole life. And that's something that I hope, you know, could be pulled. But then I started thinking, well, maybe it don't need to be pulled from me. Maybe it's what makes me who I am. But on the flip of that, I can see and internalize someone else's suffering, and that helps me as well.
That's
Uh,
good.
Sometimes you have to sell this opportunity because it is unbelievable to some people. They can't fathom it, right? So I find myself pulling from my sales experience. I'm seeing things that makes this more divine every time I think about it. You know what I mean? Because I've had a million jobs. You know what I mean?
I had a
And I
couple.
thought, what a waste, what a waste, what a waste. But thank God for those million jobs because it makes me complete in this regard. And they like I have a veteran, the lady that just got in, Ariel. She has PTSD and a whole lot of other letters. You know what I'm saying? But she's a runner. She don't like people. I sold her on the fact that we're not like a shelter. You're safe. She's an Army veteran like myself, so I bleed green like she bleed green. So I'm like, listen, man. I really had to tell. Sleeping in that car ain't where you want to be. You know what I'm saying? So she came out. She's doing very well, and I talked to her. You got to be open without violating HIPAA or something, right? I speak to the rest of the residents and they know when someone's fragile. And I confirm it. Yes, they're fragile. I said that wall is up, but it's gonna get lower and lower and lower. Sure enough, it's getting lower and lower, but I'm in a position where I have a safe space where if it gets too bad for her, she can go down into the office area and she can sit down there, watch TV or whatever, and just bring herself down and then
That's good.
reinsert herself into the rest of the house. That's what House 3 did for me.
That is
Better.
so.
You see what I'm saying? Better when somebody, they don't abuse it either. Um, and I like that. So they can go down there and just kind of calm down if they have issues. I'll be over there 3 in the morning. I'm only 2 minutes away from this location, and we table everything. I don't. But the agreement is, if we're gonna discuss it, it's dead once we're done discussing it. It's never brought up again, and that works. It works. So I have all these different techniques and different things that actually work, and I got a basket full of them that didn't work. So I keep them in the open so I can be reminded. Don't do that again. Don't say that again. Don't bring anybody in like this. So we have a do not ever rent type situation.
Yeah, we got that do not admit list. If that's
Yeah.
what you're referring to.
Oh yeah. Not a cousin, not a, if they related to him, I ain't bringing.
Yeah. Hey,
But
Okay.
hey, well, let's skip ahead for 2 seconds because I'm actually over my time tonight. But I want to make sure that I answer these last two questions because I made a promise, right? So I want to go to Neonta and Frankie real quick.
Frankie's not
Francesca.
here.
Oh, break is going. So let's go to Neonta and Tiffany if Tiffany's still here. Um, let's see. I see Neonta and okay, so it's Frankie not here.
Yes.
Tiffany, what do you the question came in and says, what all do you put in the house? Now, all of us are going to answer this probably in different ways, but Tiffany, what do you require to be in your house for your people to live? What do you put in it?
You mean like me personally? What I put
Yes,
in it
ma'am.
as far as
So
the
so
owner?
how do
Okay,
you
I'm
furnish
sorry.
it? Like all of the
Um,
items that you put in,
Oh yeah,
just name off some
absolutely.
stuff.
So I always tell people, because I feel like I'm gonna miss something. I usually just tell people, picture what you have in your house. If you walk right out of your house and walk into this house, it's almost the exact same thing because we provide all of the furniture. In the common areas, we have, sofas, chairs. dining room sets. We have a fully stocked kitchen, and when I say stocked kitchen, I mean all of the things that you would need, all the cooking utensils, pots, pans, baking sheets, anything that you can think of that you would need to actually go in and prepare your own meals. We provide everything except for the food in the kitchen, of course. But of course, I always tell people we have resources for that if that's a challenge for you. And then we also, you don't have to worry about bedding, comforters, towels, like everything that you think of that you would need in your home. We pretty much have it there in the home, waiting and ready for them. And a lot of this stuff, when they come, it's new. As far as the sheets and things like that, comforters, we do not. Usually, when people leave, it's the people that probably need to take their comforters with them. So that's a parting gift that we give
That's
to
a
them. I
nice way
say,
to
oh no,
say it.
yes, I say, oh no, 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 you take that with you. Thank you from Good Samaritan Solutions. But they'll have a new fresh pillowcases. So anything that they need, we pretty much have, except for, like I said, their food and their personal items are the only things that they're responsible for bringing to the home. Other than that, they can step right out of the situation they're in and step right into being being hopeful again and having housing.
I love it. I love it. I want to go right to Neonta. Same question. Neonta, anything different that you provide that Tiffany didn't mention, or anything that you want to expound upon that I'm gonna go share?
The only thing I would add is the making ensuring that you have washer and dryer in the house. A lot of those guys have trouble getting to a washing machine. Most of them don't drive, so getting to a laundromat could be problematic for them. So, and then it's also a selling point for your case manager and social workers when you have those things in the house as well. One thing we do at Saints Care, we give them a gift coming, a welcoming gift. And that for us, that just consists of a laundry basket with washcloth, towel, and a personal hygiene packet, because many times they're coming off the streets and they don't come with anything. So something to start them off with, so they don't feel like they're just coming in and got to figure out where they're going to get washcloth, towels, soap, and all of that kind of stuff from.
I love it. Miss Shay, jump right into it, as you are a nonprofit. So what are you adding or putting in your homes? Maybe something's different from what Tiffany and Neonta mentioned, or if you want to expound upon anything.
Pretty much the same things. I think the only other thing that'll be different for me right now is outsourcing services. I think that's something different. It's not the daily, utilized aesthetics, like the we have everything that you need to live, right? But what we're doing is we're partnering again with other organizations. As a nonprofit, it makes it a lot easier for me to partner with other organizations that render services. Prime example, a lot of people that are in our database, in our CRM, received a text message over the weekend about some of the things that we're doing through the Angela Denise Foundation, partnering with Forston Consultants. We get to do those things as donations. You can write that stuff off. So I get providers, social service providers, clinical psychologists, and all of that good stuff that want to render services or have to fulfill hours or meet different criteria, that they come in and they can provide those things to our residents at no cost to me, but then in turn can utilize that as not taxable, but hours rendered for themselves or their business. So those are some of the things that the Angela Denise Foundation can kind of leverage as a nonprofit organization. And with that said, for those of you that are in our CRM or in our family, we are Forston Consultants, along with the Angela Denise Foundation. All of our esteemed ILF family members have adopted a family local to us. Actually, an ILF Mastery Blueprint family member has gone through a tragic loss, just as we have, leaving behind a wife and 4 little amazing kids, children all under the age of 8 years old. And we're adopting them for Christmas, and not just for Christmas. We're asking you to join us as we adopt them for Christmas, but Derek and I have adopted them wholly. This is going to be a life's mission and a life's journey for us. Their family.
Absolutely.
And we will continue to be a part of their family until they get rid of us, just like how we do. So that's some of the things that the Angela Denise Foundation can do, and we are doing. So if you are interested Alex, I'm going to give you a new prompt. If you are interested in adopting or being a part of this initiative to make the not just the Christmas holiday, but life a little bit easier for a mom that has now become a single mom with 4 precious, precious, precious children, text uh, give me something, Derek. Text ADF, Angela Denise Foundation. Text that to the number 407-326-0086. If you just text ADF, we will send you how you can play a role in that, what you can provide. If anything, it doesn't have to be monetary. If you want to go and shop on Amazon, we'll send you an address that you can ship all of this stuff to, and we'll make sure that it's delivered to our precious family during this time of hardship. So that's me, Angela Denise Foundation.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And just in case if you guys need that phone number again, that's 407-326-0086. And that family, guys, is a part of our family. So if you're a part of that ILF Mastery Blueprint, or if you're a part of Forston Consultants, they were a part of that. The husband passed away. A lot of you guys know him, right? He used to be on this app with us all the time. And again, surprisingly, right, passed the same day Otis did, which was so crazy. Him and Otis passed 45 minutes apart from each other. So can you imagine what our month and our weeks have been like? So again, if you want to give towards that, again, none of that goes to us. That's going to go directly to the kids. Luckily, they're straight for Christmas. So the toys they don't need.
Right.
But like clothing and anything that the kids need, monetary like gifts, that will absolutely work for that mom. That's what she'll need. So again, just thank y'all for anybody that does that. And I pray that God blesses you and your family and your housing program, or your housing program to come, that you will start, and God will use that seed that Shay's asking for to bless your program as well. So I think we had one more question, and then I think we're going to start shedding things down. Where is it? Let me find it. So I want to jump back on topic real quick, and I want to give not a quote, but I just want to kind of give you guys a little bit of a statement. Imagine doing God's will and the blessing is already built into it. I'm gonna repeat that again, right? Imagine having a job or a business to where the blessing of God was already built into it. Remember, I told you guys 30 minutes ago, I was praying and pleading to God, God, save my family. God, help me financially. God, I'm poor. God, I need more money. God, I'm struggling. And the whole time, God put me in the middle of the thing that would have changed my life. Dummy me, it took me 9 years to be on the job before the light bulb came on. And one day, I'll never forget, I was like, Derek, what are you doing? This was after the girl showed me the $41,000 a month. This was after she told me that, Derek, I ain't going to teach you how to do this. And I was like, Derek, what are you doing? Like, you know how this works. Like, you're the guy that's giving all the clients away anyway. And I'll admit, when I left that job and I started, it wasn't that easy. Right? I never got to the part where I told you how long it took me, but it took me about 2 months to get my first client, Mr. Social Worker. And I thought it was going to be faster, but it didn't work that way. But needless to say, I got up to 12 ILFs of my own before I kind of dwindled them down a little bit and went full-fledged with the coaching. Now we're getting more facilities like each and every week, seems like. So Shay and I are literally taking over a facility in about 13 days? Yeah. Literally, that's already got 7 people in it. So we're taking over a fully running ILF. And literally, I go tomorrow to do a walkthrough and meet everybody. None of them actually know me, but tomorrow they'll know me as the new boss or as the new program leader, right? And they'll meet Jess by phone, right? Jess will kind of start all of this tomorrow with a phone call. But I always ask people, man, imagine having a job or a business where the blessing of God was already built into it. In the Bible, it says the poor and needy will always be among us. It also says the poor and needy are to be taken care of by us, the poor, the needy, and the widow. And that's why I tell people, imagine doing God's will, right? And doing the right thing by your community, but also being respected by your community and also making enough money to feed your family. But the blessing of God is built into it. So I think it's pretty cool, man. It's like when I grew up, a lot of people thought I was going to be a preacher and a bishop and all that stuff. They said, that boy going to be a preacher. That boy going to preach. And true enough, I did become a preacher, but guess what? I got a whole ministry. So even though I'm not a preacher per se, as most people see it, I am a preacher of the gospel and of the good news, but my ministry is housing.
Absolutely.
So I minister every day, just like the pastor that y'all go and see every Sunday. My ministry is bringing people closer to God underneath that roof over their head. It's hard to hear what God can do for your life when you're sleeping outside in the rain. But when I bring you in to second chance housing and start your life over, I can now preach to you about the goodness of God. Now,
Absolutely.
put a thumbs up in the chat of the word God if you believe that. And trust me, I'm not some Bible-toting people that beat people over the head with the Bible. Trust me, I'm a work in progress every day. So I always tell people I'm no pastor, I'm no priest, and I'm no bishop. But guess what? I love God, and God crazy about me. And I love people. I just so happen to love real estate. And God was genius enough to combine those together. So all of this 95 minutes that we've been here tonight, guys, this is all we've talked about. I'm no genius. Remember, my wife tricked me to go to school, and through the grace of God, I finished that. But all God did was combine social services, something I was already in, and that's how genius God is. He'll take you where you're already starting from. He took my social work skills and combined real estate in it, because it all started from a prayer. I said, God, I want to help people. God, I figure like I can't do wrong in life if I'm helping your people. So God, I want to help people. I want to make a bunch of money. And God, I want to be involved in real estate. That's my life's dream. God was so genius, y'all. He said, okay, big mouth Derek, you want to help people? Here go a social worker job. Okay, Derek, you want to be involved in real estate? Here's a bunch of people being housed in real estate and rats and roaches. Derek, what you going to do about that, bro? That's literally the challenge I feel like God gave me. So I'm blessed beyond measure that God allowed me to struggle in the beginning, and that girl didn't teach it to me. Because what if she would have taught me that? Maybe I would have thought rats and roaches were okay. Maybe I would have justified it. The devil is a liar. The first thing that I said when I saw the conditions of that place, I said, God, we got to change the way these people are living, and we got to change the way they're housing. We got to change the way the homeless are being housed and how people view that. That's going to start with me, God. Like that song, The Man in the Mirror, Michael Jackson. It starts here. My job was to share with other people and not be a crab in a bucket and keep it to myself. Big shout out to Tamara Bennett. Good to see you, sis. Tomorrow's actually a case manager. Tomorrow, you are the epitome of what I was. Going to work every day, 5-6 days a week, dreaming to do something like this. I don't want to be tied to an 8-hour job my whole life. Tomorrow, in fact, if you're still here, put a thumbs up, T, if you're still here. Because I don't want to go on about that. But if tomorrow's here, or if you're a social worker, if you're a case manager, if you're a preacher, bishop, pastor, if you're in church leadership, or if you just love God and love people, this is for you guys. Because none of y'all would be in this room if you didn't like real estate. None of y'all would be in this room if you didn't like to help people. God combined those two things together and put it in a blender. And now we pour it all over the world, teaching people how to do it. So again, instead of that $15,000 one-on-one coaching, it's only $4,700, guys. That's a no-brainer. You get the one-on-one coaching, every ebook that we've ever written about this, every curriculum and course about this. We give you a VA. We give you the VA course. We give you the HRA business in a box. And you get my accountant for 6 months. Guys, that is a no-brainer. Okay? So I'm going to land my plane probably there. I'm going to check with Shay. I'm going to check with Tiffany and Neonta. But thank y'all so much for being here. Hopefully, again, I did what I promised. And if I didn't, you tell me. But I promised to give y'all value and a bunch of game on this. And then I gave you an opportunity to get in it. So Monday and Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, we're here faithfully for the last 3 years. We never miss. The only time that we missed was when my brother passed away November 20th, and it broke my heart. Shut me down for 2 weeks, right? But now we're back stronger than ever. So Monday and Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, join us. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so that you never miss when we come on. We do a lot of videos, content, shorts, reels, all of that. And every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, we do the same thing. And every Saturday, we show people how to house the homeless, and you never need real estate. Somebody asked in the chat earlier, Derek, how can I refer people to you all? Now, if you're talking about to me, you can call Jess, my assistant, at 407-813-27 2640. Again, that's 407-813-2640. Her name is Jess. 11 months ago, I turned my entire program over to a virtual assistant that works for $4 an hour. Changed my life. Every Saturday, that's what we talk about. How can you become a housing referral agency? So tomorrow, if you're still here or anybody, if you want to do this, but you say, well, Derek, I can't buy no house. Derek, I can't rent one either. No problem. You need to become a housing referral agency and just make the referrals for placement and still make an impact and an income. Because you still make money doing it, and you do the same thing we do. You just don't house them yourself. If you get a phone call and you got a guy in Orlando that's homeless, you just call me. You call Jess. And if we house them, I'm going to say, what do you charge? So whatever your referral fee is, that's how you literally do what we do without having real estate. If you understand that, put yes in the chat. Because some of y'all want to do this, but tomorrow you can't go out and buy a house or rent one. But can you open your mouth to tell people that you provide housing? Because that's all you have to do. Please watch the HRA webinar. It's a 14-minute webinar that'll teach you how to house the homeless without needing real estate. You're just going to make the referral out. Okay? So if that's something that you guys desire, that same phone number that you guys can text, that 407 number,
And they
326, I'm gonna get it right this time, 0086. You guys can text pretty much whatever you need or want to that number, and my team gonna see to it that you get it. If they don't, they'll be in trouble by me. But literally, again, most people come to us for 1 to 3 things usually. You want to be an ILF operator, meaning you want the ILF Mastery Blueprint. That's IMB. You can text IMB to that number, and you're going to get that sale price of the $4,700. Oh, you say, Derek, I think that HRA is pretty cool. You give me a VA, the curriculum, the course, and the email template and the phone scripts template. Yes. That's usually, $2,000? That's not only $597? Crazy stuff during the sale, guys. And some people want to come to us and get a virtual assistant. That's usually $697 for a VA. But right now during the sale, only $197. So big shout out to like the 5 people that got those today. And again, January 1st, guys, everything goes back to the normal pricing. So we've been imploring people that even if you want to do this later in life, get it now and defer it to later, and we'll still coach you. Just don't miss the sale, right? Because there's huge sales on all of this stuff. But again, thank y'all so much for being here. We super appreciate it. And again, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us at Forston Consultants on Facebook and Instagram. Follow me on TikTok at Derek Forston. There's a lot of content, guys. A lot of people watch our social media and get started simply from the social media because that's how much information we put out. So thank you to all of the new people, Selena, MZ, all of the new people that came today too, right? A lot of you guys and gals have discovery calls with me this week. I'm excited about that. So when we leave tonight, make sure you guys write down questions. So for your discovery call, we can actually talk about that stuff that maybe we didn't clear up tonight. And the only requirement to speak to us for that free call is to watch the webinar. The ILF webinar is about an hour long. The HRA is 14 minutes long, guys, and it'll change your life. I'm Derek Forston. I approve this message, and I love y'all. Miss Shay?
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Neonta for her final words for tonight. And
yes, it's recorded for whoever asked that. This will be recorded on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
Yeah, yes. And I sent the text message from the system because they did ask. So Neonta, go ahead and give closing remarks for tonight if you would like to.
I actually don't have anything tonight. It was a great room.
Of course you do. Are you kidding me? You always have something inspirational from the Bible. You better come on, give it to him.
I got that tonight. No, it's been a great room. It's been a great room. It's always great to come in and be imparted into and be a blessing to others as well. So just excited to be here, man. Like I talk about y'all guys like y'all my parents, real life, even though y'all younger than me in real life. But
I'm your little brother, right, sis?
But I really appreciate you. Actually, I was sitting here thinking when Darnico was talking earlier, I was thinking, man, it's always good when you can surround yourself with people who have a like mind and be poured into, and vice versa. And you can pour into them, and you can see the benefits of the relationship. So I'm just super excited about that. God chose to allow me to connect with you guys for the divine connection. So I said, you know what? Thank you, Lord. I say to everybody in the audience tonight, I say to everybody in the audience tonight, divine connection, don't let it pass you by. I believe that tonight was definitely a divine intervention for some who are listening in. You were chosen to be on this live tonight, so don't let the door close before you jump in the water. Step in the water, as the old folks say. Step in the water. The water is fine. I'm from the country, y'all.
By way of South Carolina.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go Gamecocks, Lady Gamecocks. That is. Let's go.
Good stuff. I love it. Tiffany, all the way from Tiffany's from. I'm slipping it right now. Tiffany's from. Where the world Tiffany from? Why I can't think of it?
Oklahoma, man.
Oklahoma. What's wrong with me?
Wow.
Come on through, sis.
Oh my goodness. I was just sitting here. Like, I know, like, Oklahoma, people like, where are you from? Like, when you go different conferences and stuff, I used to be like, oh my gosh, they're going to ask me where I'm from. And I'm like, oh, I'm from Oklahoma. And they're like, Oklahoma? What? And, then they want to make fun, sing the little Oklahoma song. And I'm like, oh, that is so old. Stop doing that, but it's funny every time, I guess. But anyway, I was just sitting here thinking about, just my life and how over the course of the last year and a half that I've been connected with you all, like how much has changed. Like, I just feel like being around people that, like Neonta said, that are like-minded, that are like you, like how much it can just uplift you and encourage you to do more and be better, just by simply doing something that's already in your heart to do, which is love people and help people. Like, being around people that are doing the exact same thing as you do, it's not always easy, but it just gives you that feeling of just like, Lord, like, you got me in the right place. Like, this is you. I know, it's no doubt in my mind. Because I'm not gonna lie, at first I was like, okay, Lord, I don't want to miss you again, because I thought it was gonna be Airbnb, but you said no to that too. So like, I just want to make sure. But after exactly after I look back on it, I'm like, God, your hand's been in this from the very beginning. And the other day we were watching a football game, and I hope I get this quote right, and somebody else may on the call may be like, oh, that's so and so. I don't keep up with just all the players sometimes, but he was saying, basically, when you step back and put everything in God's hands, at the end you'll see how God's hand was in everything. And that touched me, and I was like,
say that
Lord,
one more time, sis. Wow. Just one more time.
Now, it's not a Tiffany article. I got this from it was a sports guy. He plays football, I believe, and he said, if you step back and put everything into God's hands, at the end you'll see how God's hand was in everything.
That sounds like Deion Sanders.
So it may have been the guys that's connected with him. I do keep up with Prime, and I know he has a lot of good sayings, but it may have been somebody connected to him. But I was just watching and just happened to hear that, and that was one of his quotes, because I think he lost his mother or his aunt or something to cancer during this time of building his football career and stuff like that. So it just kind of touched me, and I was like, if we do sit back, Lord, and we allow you to do it, we'll see in the end that you've been a part of it all along. And so I feel like that when I think about my connection with the Forstons and the ILF and everything that has happened in my life, my family's life in the last year and a half, it's just been like, wow, God, like little things, like it could be something really little that I am driving down the street and God will bring it to my remembrance. And I'm like, oh man, you know what? That is right. That did happen. And so it just makes you feel so good to know that you are definitely walking the path that he created you. Because like Dornico said, I believe earlier, I want to get that well done when it's my time. I want to get that you did exactly. You my people, and that you did what you were supposed to do. Well done, Tiffany.
Absolutely.
So that's where I am. And I feel like my connections with you all is just making it even better and even sweeter as we walk down this path together. So definitely our hearts are full of love for the Forstons, and we thank you guys for everything that you do. Like, nothing that you all do is not noticed by the Walker family. So all the way from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, we are wrapping our arms around you and giving you the biggest hug that we possibly can give you, and telling you how much we love you all.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. So special people like that, man, that's been around for a long time. And just as much as we mean to Tiffany, she means that to us. And we love her dad as well, her brother, her family, everybody that's involved in what she's doing. And guys, you just sent an example of the way people feel about us. Obviously, when we come in, we tell everybody y'all family and we try to pour out as much as we can. But when people speak on our behalf and the way they feel about us, we appreciate that. It makes us feel good. And it also allows other people to see how you guys are being treated from us. Because the last thing somebody wanted to be done to is to be treated wrong or be treated indifferent or not receive what they paid for. Like, I'll just be real, right? A lot of this still stems from them paying for the coaching, guys. Tiffany won't think I'm such a nice guy if she paid for the coaching and she didn't get anything out of it. Let's not get that twisted, right? So the relationship started from, I say, I'm going to do this, Tiffany, if you do this. You say, well, what does that mean, Derek? Well, listen, I'm going to be the greatest coach you've ever seen in the realm of shared housing if you promise to do everything that we ask you to do. Meaning we want you to move at the speed of instruction on everything that we're telling you. And if you do, you'll look like a Tiffany Walker. You will look like a Neanta. You will look like Dornico. You will look like all the people in the 25 different states now, over 275 people. You will look like them. So thank you, Tiffany. So I'm going to turn it over to Shay to give her salutation. Then I'm going to bless y'all and pray y'all out of here. And again, we'll see y'all tomorrow back in this room where we also talk about virtual assistants, our business coaching, and again, just how to scale and grow your business, even in the ILF. But if you got a business that's outside of the ILF, that's what we're good at. And that's our other company, Digital Flow Solutions. And I'll admit, my wife is really involved in that one because it's more techie stuff and the VA stuff. So if you got business questions tomorrow or how you can implement something new that's in your business, like automations, techie stuff, AI tools, that's going to be Shay's lane. Okay, so Shay, I'll let you hop in and then I'll do mine and we'll get these nice people out of here.
I just find it funny how you always say techie stuff. Derek is hilarious. When I say he is not techie, he is.
I'm not, y'all. I'm pretty bad.
Not even a little bit. But again, I just want to thank you all for being here. Like Derek just said, we always say move at the speed of instruction, and that is because our coaching is not just for you to hear information and not implement. In order to be successful in this ILF, in the ILF realm or any business, you've got to put your hand to the plow. You've got to do the work. And as Otis would always say, no excuses. We can't give any excuses for if you want to give an excuse for why it didn't work, I need you to look at your own hands and say, did these hands do what they needed to do in order to bring forth what needed to be brought forth, right? And that's just something that I share with even the clients that I coach. I can lead the horse to water, but I cannot force you to drink. I'll drown you if I do try. And that's not what we're about. We're about giving you that information and being there to encourage you along the way. And that's just how we do this. So again, my ask for you all in this space, those of you that are interested, is be prepared to work. Be prepared to be transparent. Be prepared to come to us when you're having those down days. You know, that's what we're here for. We're a family. You heard Derek say it. You heard Tiffany. You heard Neanta. You've heard from Frankie. You've heard from Dornico. We're all about cultivating and nurturing the family unit. This is not just coaching for us. You are a part of our family. Once you join us, even before you join us, you don't even have to join us. Those that are consistent in these spaces that we're in, that show up and just interact, your family. We consider you family. So just know that we love y'all. We appreciate every last one of y'all. Again, I ask, and I will ask Alex to put that lower third up again for the ADF, for Angela Denise Foundation. I am strongly encouraging those that can and have the want to help us as we adopt our family, by not only just helping them for Christmas, but ongoing. We are looking to make a strategic mark in this family's life by being the hands and feet of Jesus Christ and showing them that we are here. You all can be a part of that by just texting ADF to 407-326-0086 and taking part in that, whether it's sending a gift or, or financial, monetary, whatever you can do. There's no amount, there's no amount that is not welcomed. We just appreciate your heart and your giving. And then, like I said, when we get everything together, we will announce what you all helped us to raise and the things that we were able to bless this family with. And again, I'm going to keep this thing going from
And they
the
get the
Angela
receipts for the
Denise.
501c3 thing or
Correct.
whatever.
Yes, they
Okay,
do.
perfect.
Absolutely.
So
you
explain that
do.
too, so just in case if somebody
because
wants
this
that.
is a nonprofit organization, you do get a giving statement that shows that you did render a gift to the Angela Denise Foundation, and in turn, we are then going to go ahead and bless that family, our family. I'm being strategic not to put their name all over the place because some people aren't like that, and this is a very, very sweet family. Again, 4 precious babies, a loving wife that lost their rock, the head of their household.
Yeah.
And it's
And again, y'all, he was an ILF Mastery Blueprint member.
Yeah.
So, if she allows us, we're actually going to show their family photo next week if she's okay with it. We don't want to do anything outside of what the wife wants,
Correct.
but she's all of our family. So
Mhm.
when Shay explains this, I want you guys to remember that this is not just some random outside guy.
No.
Notice we keep talking about family. This was an ILF Mastery Blueprint member, the rock of his family, 4 beautiful kids. Everybody's under the age of 8 years old, very young. So this is a tough time for them. So you can give $5 or you can give 50 grand, whatever you can do, and wherever God touches your heart at, right? You can give $3. Anything that you can give to help this lady, this mother of these kids, will greatly be appreciated by not only us, but definitely her. And then our prayers that anybody that gives or has the want to give, we're going to pray God's blessing on your life. So whether you give $1 or not, boy, if you say, God, I want to give $10, but I'm broke, I ain't got it. No problem. Because you want to give, we're going to pray that God bless you too. So if you see fit and you can, handle $5, $10, $20, consider doing that. And again, Shay's put the link in the lower thirds. It's on the screen. Consider helping somebody else in their time of need and watch God show out for you in terms of what you want. In fact, when you give it, say, God, I'm planting this seed. This is going to help this family. And God, use this seed to transform my life and my housing program or whatever you're standing in the need of. Somebody may need healing. So when I'm a giver, which I'm always am, not that God is of you give and I get, but if I'm planting a seed, I usually pray and say, God, use this seed any way that you see fit, but God bless my family because of the obedience of me giving this seed. Nothing wrong with that prayer, right? It's because you're meeting the need, but you're asking God to also bless your family through this seed. So it's almost like you're giving God something to work with. So I don't want to turn it into a whole preaching moment. Let God use you any way he see fit in that, okay? And just freely give. Shay?
Absolutely. That's it. I just want to thank those that have already given. I am so excited. We've got other campaigns from other of our partners that we're partnering with. Like prime example, the young man is 8 years old. That is the oldest child, and he plays the drums phenomenally. I got to sing, and he played the drums for the band during his father's homegoing service. And man, that was the hardest time. Like I've sang at my mom's funeral, and guys, I promise you, this was hard.
Pull your mic up, Shay, because you keep waving in and out.
Sorry, but this was the hardest thing that I ever had to do. Was watch this young man play the drums. So we're a part of another giving campaign where we're buying him his own set. And again, there's a lot of things happening, but we want to continue to bless this family. So with that said, I'm done. I land my plane, Derek.
Good stuff. Well, thank y'all so much. We super appreciate it. I will make this outro a long one, but thank y'all so much. Y'all had a lot of choices of where you could have been, but y'all spent time with us. And I super look forward to all of the new people that are going to take the discovery call. And remember, it's very easy, right? Free call. As long as you watch the webinar first, and do yourself a favor, right? Watch both of them. The HRA webinar is only 14 minutes long and teaches you how to house the homeless without needing the property. And then the ILF webinar, Alex, go ahead and drop both of those in the chat now. That one will teach you to do what me and Shay do. We operate them, right? So thank y'all so much, man. I'm super excited for all of the new people. I'm excited for people that's been kind of sitting around for a while, and now you're ready because of the sale. So thank you all so much. I look forward to it. I want y'all to fill my calendar up. So again, I want to speak to you on the phone, Because a lot of times when we get on the phone, guys, you never know what goodies I have up my sleeve, right? In terms of sales and scholarships and different deals. So definitely watch the webinar and let's get on the phone call together. Father God, thank you so much for the seed that was sown tonight, God. Thank you for the ability to give what you so graciously just gave me. Father God, you're so good, and it don't matter what nobody say. God, we've been through a rough week. We've been through some rough months, but you remain faithful and you remain the same, and you are still good. So, Father God, thank you for all the people that came out tonight. Father God, bless them mightily. In fact, move every obstruction, and Father God, open every door of opportunity for these people. Father God, I want the devil to be under their feet and have no place in their life, their business, or their family. Devil, we denounce you. And Father God, we decrease so that you can increase in our lives. Father God, everybody that came on this live tonight, I want you to bless them and give them every opportunity to get into what we're talking about tonight. Because God, you're no favoritism of people. You did it for me and you will do it for them.
Yes.
So Father God, I thank you for the ability for them to do it. I thank you for the healing from the top of their head to the soles of their feet, that they'll be able to do it. Because God, health is our greatest asset. And how can we do your will if we're not healthy? So, Father God, today I speak healing amongst everybody that's here. From the top of your head to the soles of your feet, there is nothing wrong with you, and you are healed, you're delivered, and you're set free. Father God, give us business acumen. Give us the mind of Christ. Allow us to make the right and godly decision each and every day. And Father God, as you always do, make me and my team and my family the best consultants that we can be. Allow us to keep you first, and you will allow everything else to fall into place. Father God, give us every resource that you will give us, because you are the ultimate source. But Father God, send us resources that you've provided to make this program possible. And Father God, before they ever get the keys to their first facility, I ask that you bless their facility. I ask that you bless their facility.
Yes.
And Father God, allow them to prosper and succeed, because God, we ain't just doing this because it's popular, but we're doing it because you said the poor and needy will always be among us. So God, allow us to use real estate to help your people. And Father God, at the same time, allow it to turn around and bless my family. So Father God, thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. We reverence you. We respect you today. Now unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can ever ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. You guys be great. Don't wait to be great. And we'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Have a blessed night.
See you guys.